Everybody, make sure you submitted your midterm in this module, midterm submission, not in week 7, this one, okay? Now, for today's class, we're gonna do week 8. Don't look at this one. This one you don't see. This is my Brightspace, so I get to see everything that's in your manual. So it's week 8, AI, and pattern in AI. In this, you need to download this shirt, because we're gonna draw this shirt, and then we're also going to be putting the stripe pattern on the shirt, okay? Then what we're gonna do is, if you need to use the croquis, a reminder, the croquis is in week 5. So we're getting to the point that we're gonna go a little, not faster, but we're getting more used to Illustrator. I think everyone who hated the pen now understands somewhat what to do with it. Okay, so we're gonna start the lesson the same way. We're gonna go to new file, 8.5 by 11, which is already here. I'm gonna do, so sorry, my settings are different right now because I was working on a project. So it's 8.5 by 11. We're gonna do portrait 1. Remember, RGB 300 ppi. So create. Now save as, and it's Araujo striped shirt, or whichever you want to call it. But okay, perfect. So now I'm gonna drag. If you have a Mac, you can just drag her in, and you can drag week 8. If you don't have a Mac, what you have to do is, a reminder, you just go to file, and first you have to save the image by itself. Save this image, then you go into Illustrator, you go to place the image, okay? So we're gonna do that. We're gonna make this smaller for our purposes. Okay. So we have this shirt. I do love J. Crew, so okay. And then we're gonna go into our layers. We're gonna separate the layers. I just like to, because I can toggle it in and out when I feel like it. You understand? That's why I like to separate in layers, just so I can toggle it and I don't have to worry about what's a lock, locking a picture, who would not lock it, It's just easier for me. Little by little, you'll understand what I mean by those things. Okay, so one of the first things that I forgot to mention is, not mention, but more that I've noticing when you guys are drawing necklines, is that you're not going around the body. So meaning the same outline, we're gonna do the outline for this shirt. In other words, anything outside the edge. If that's the case, that means we need to do the back neck first. That applies. So your back neck is not gonna be from here. You understand? This is a little too low. Your back neck is gonna be on your neck because it's a shirt color. It has, you can see it, it's an under color here too. That little strip, that's an under color. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna go from higher in the neck, we're gonna go straight, and then we go down. That's how we start. Now, a lot of you just try to finish it right in the neckline. No. A collar sits on your neck. It's not flat on your neck. You understand? This is a shirt collar. So one thing about construction with everybody, the shirt collars and cuffs will always have fusible, so therefore they have more strength to not sit flat. They're gonna stand, okay? So that's why. So now you can see, we discussed drop shoulders. This is definitely a drop shoulder. You can see how the visual right here. So we're gonna round that shoulder, go down, and I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm just going to do the outline. The sleeve outline. And then this section touches each other, that's fine. I am gonna be making this, and remember, it's just gonna be up to the half point. And I'm also gonna only do the outside, not the inside, the outside edge, okay? Now, this might not be the right way of doing, this looks a little too slim. compared to this. The original image looks like it has more of an A-line. So what do? We always keep our beautiful selection tool, direct selection, shortcut A. I can just click and drag what I need and move it. Ta-da, that's it. So now it looks more like, okay, this shirt is an A-line. And I can even move just definitely a little bit of points here and there just to make sure. There you go. There's that angle now because there's angles. All right. So this is where we start. Now, let's just say I want this 2 points on the end to really be in the same line. What I can do is if I select this point with the bottom point, I click and drag only those points. Look what happens with the line tool. You see how it lines right? It will do it to the farthest point. And right now it's fine. So let me show you, let me make a little mistake. Let's just say the 1 point is not in the same plane, like right here. If I click and I put a line right, look what happens. It does it. You understand? So I'm gonna show you. Select it, and then I do it. You see that? They aligned. Look at the bottom. So you can use these align tools not only to align lines or objects, also points. Okay? All right, so now we have this outline. The same discussion that we had last week. With skirts, we even had this discussion 2 weeks ago with the skirt. Where is my center front? Yeah, but where? Is it on the edge of this? Is it on the bottom? Yes, you're right. The center front for this will always be on the buttons because it's a button down. Okay? There's an illusion. It looks from far away, you don't think about it. But your buttons are the ones that are going to be in the center of the garment. Okay? And now, once you start doing pattern making, you'll learn that the hard way. So, especially because you're going to be making it. Anyways, so now that we have this, we're going to draw now. Before I do that, remember the outside is up 2 points. And now the inside will be 1 point. Now you understand why I keep telling you use different weights for different things. Because we're getting more complex now. The more complex we get, the more we need to figure out how we're going to be telling people when they see this, how they're going to build this up. Okay? So then we're going to draw the neckline. Now, my neckline is not going to be like this. Why? Because it's not a seam in this shoulder. You need to make it look like it's going around the neckline. So what we do, also I'm using red outline so you guys can see it, okay? So let's just first do that color thing right here. That's the neck seam. So let's do that to guide us. If you're making this, and if anyone has worn a shirt, that neck seam is not all the way down. It's right really near your neckline, correct? Everyone, yeah. It's not, so it will be around where your clavicle is at. So you just go and do that. Done. And then not only that, there is gonna be a little neckline thing there, like a stem color. So you're gonna draw that too. Because look what, I am not gonna draw this open. I could draw this open, but let's not make our life complicated today. We're gonna draw this close. Everything's gonna be closed. You understand? You can draw it open if you want to. I'm not gonna stop you. But now I'm just gonna do this edge. You see this edge right here? That one. That's called the undercolor. Now that is done. Now I am gonna go and draw this around the neckline. You see what I'm doing? Making that line and putting that neckline. It's not such a big neckline. And there you go. Now I can make this white for now so I don't see it, the fill in. And now I don't see any of those other necks. Now this seems to me a little too high. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna bring it down. Oh, that's better. So get used to using your direct selection tool to adjust your lines accordingly as you draw, because now this looks more like it. Yeah. Oh, wait, this one? So you click, select, and drag. And you see I'm selecting all the points here. Make sure you're in the direct selection tool, and you can use your arrows. You can use your arrows. You don't have to move everything. You can just use your arrows. Even your arrows are your friends too. Yes. And then you just go here. Ta-da, and you don't have to have that line. You can just minimize it. There you go. Done. She is good. Now I'm gonna draw the rest of her. This seam is called a forward shoulder. It helps balance the garments. You guys have not done this yet, but what happens, has anyone worn a shirt and it feels like it's always going to the front sometimes? It's because there's no balance to it. So they have to put this, they should have put the seam a little more forward so this way it doesn't grow all the way to the side, okay? That's why. It's balancing things. Okay, so we're gonna do another seam here. And then that's it. And then now I feel like that my armhole needs to be a little higher, so I'm just gonna bring that up. Remember, I just select it with the direct selection tool and move my arrows. And this is gonna be my armhole. Yes. Oh, make sure that you are using one point. If not, you can always use the eyedropper and like, just eyedrop it. Perfect. Maybe this is too rounded, so I'm just selecting it. I'm just gonna make it slouchy. That's better. Just try to use your eye. If something looks too like it's poking out too much and it's supposed to be softer, then make it more roundier. It's all about using your eye and how do you draw these things. Now this sheet is a little different because for the first time now we have folded, meaning this is not a very fitted shirt. You're not seeing her underarm. She's just like draped, correct? So we have to draw her in a draped position. So if that's the case, then we're just gonna go from here to the side seam. And not even that much. We can just move this. Yeah, there you go. You can see it. It does look like her. But we're gonna add more things to this. Hold on a second. Let's move some of the points. Make sure like her armhole should be below her bust, not on her bust. It's an oversized drop shoulder. And then oh yeah. And then we just have the cuff here. Done. We also have the roundedness of the front. Done. And you know what? I think it needs to be a little higher. And that's it. Okay. Look what happens. We just drew this already. You see that? We start with the basic place. Now, what we're gonna do is, I keep telling you guys to keep in mind your edges. So this is the edge. And now everything's inside, okay? And then what we're gonna do now is, oh, look at that, this line, this point right here, the one that I did for this hem is not lining up. So what do? We select those points and we actually align them to the right. And there you go, now everything's lined up, okay. So another thing, we select all of it. Oh, maybe her cuff is too high. Look at that. This cuff looks really wide compared to this. So what do? This is time to move things around with our direct selection tool. And then we just click on this tool. Much better. Yeah. It's all about scale and proportion. Okay? Develop that eye to do scale and proportion. So here we are. Reflect tool, Copy. And now she is back. Look at that. And we're just gonna mirror her. The only thing we're gonna add now is that seam to the side. Oh, I don't know why it's doing that. To the side. There you go. And remember, for our purposes today, we're gonna draw her close. If you wanna do an open neckline button down, be my guest. It just takes longer, okay? But today we're just gonna draw her close. And then what we're gonna do here is, you can see that the placket is a folded, it's actually, this is a pleat. So you can do a pleat if you want. You can just, it's actually, you know what you do, guys? You just do this. You just make this not a 1, you make it a half. Where are you? I know, Spady. And then we just make that, we need to do 2. Now, you don't have to do that. You can just do it like the dash stitch. Just do a top stitch if you want to not complicate your life. And that's okay. But for me, I'm going to do a little pin tuck. So the pin tuck will be saying, like, anyone knows what's a pin tuck, correct? It's the smaller pleat in a way that you stitch down all the way. So it will be folded. It will be a folded edge, and that's why I'm gonna do folded edge here, and that will be, you can see what I'm doing here. That's the folded edge, and that's the top stitch for the pin tuck. So there you go, okay? There she goes, and then I'm doing all the stitches at this point, because I think everyone knows how to do dashing. Okay, so here you go. And since it's the inside, there's not gonna be top stitch that we see. We're gonna look at fold edges. The inside of the bottom hem does not have, it's gonna be a folded edge. Now you see the difference. Look at her, she's looking cute. There's gonna be top stitch on the cuff. I want you to do as much as possible, guys. And then on the neckline, on the collar, high. And then what we can always do, since this is just asymmetrical, we can just copy. And remember, you see how there's a band. Actually, J. Crew matched their seam so well that you don't see it, but there's a seam right here. So we're just gonna show that seam in the back. It's just straight line, just okay, and no dash. And it should be at 1 point. Okay, there you go. So you guys can see it. Hi, she's there. We're not gonna do anything else. I'm not adding shadows. I prefer adding shadows and wrinkles towards the end, just because I might be moving things around a lot right now. So I want you to get to this section right now. Try to draw this now, okay? And then in the next one, we'll be creating the stripe and trying to put pattern in, okay? We're gonna be dividing this into a few sections. Don't despair. And also, you don't have to make it so long. You can even make it a short sleeve. You can, remember, you should be using now this time to be working on your final. Meaning, if I give you a button-down shirt, you can make that button shirt for your collection. It doesn't have to be this slouchy button-down shirt. It can be one that has a little cuter, like a puff sleeve. Do what you need to do, because it's easier for you to do it now as we go along towards the final, okay? But it does need to have a sleeve and a collar.